Hello and welcome. Today, we're jumping right into the high-tech, high-stakes world of quantitative finance. We're going deep inside Wall Street's algorithm wars to find out what they're all fighting for.
So, let's talk about the key players here, the quants. You can forget that old image of traders screaming in a pit. Today's battle is all digital, and the soldiers, well, they're basically rocket scientists. They're the physicists, the mathematicians, the computer scientists who are building the engines that really drive modern finance. Every great scientist has their big theory, right? Every superhero has their special power. So what's the deal with the quants? What is their secret weapon that gives them an edge when billions are on the line every single second?
All right, so what is this secret weapon? It's the one thing that sits right at the heart of these algorithm wars. It's the one thing every single quant on the planet is searching for.
And here it is. The secret weapon is called an alpha. Now, it's not something you can touch or hold. It's an idea. It's a powerful, predictive engine that's built to find these tiny, fleeting patterns in all the chaos of the market. It really is the holy grail of quant finance.
But alpha can be kind of a vague, fuzzy word. So let's get really precise about what it means, because understanding this is what separates the winners from the losers on Wall Street.
Our source author, Igor Tolchinsky, puts it this way. Now, I know that's a bit of a mouthful, right? But the key words to focus on here are combination and prediction. And alpha isn't just one magic formula. It's a whole system, a complete package, designed to forecast where the market is going next.
So let's break that down a bit. You can think about an alpha in three ways that are all kind of saying the same thing. First, at its core, it's an algorithm, a piece of code with a set of rules. Second, that algorithm creates a forecast, a very specific prediction about what a stock might do. And third, all of that comes from an opinion, some basic idea you have about how the market actually works. It's this collision point of math, code, and human creativity.
And this slide here gives you a great picture of how it works. It's almost like an assembly line. It all starts with the alpha model. That's the core idea. That model spits out some raw predictions, but you can't use those just yet. They have to go through a refinement process. Things like neutralization to remove market biases and truncation to cut out the super extreme, risky bets. It's only after all that careful processing that you get the final output, the actual trading positions. This is the factory floor.
What's really fascinating is that alphas, well, they're kind of like people. They have a life cycle, they're born from an idea, they live for a while, they mature, and then, eventually, they fade away. And understanding this life story is absolute critical.
This graph right here, it's basically the biography of one alpha, told through its profit and loss over time. You can literally see its whole life story. You see its birth, this phase of really rapid growth, and then you see the struggles, the plateaus. And after another good run, you see that final, inevitable decline at the very end. It's a whole life, right there in the data.
So how do you track an alpha's health while it's alive? Well, quants have a report card, a set of vital signs. The Sharpe ratio tells you about the quality of the ride. Is it a nice, smooth climb or a terrifying roller coaster? The max drawdown, that shows you the single biggest, most painful loss it ever took. Daily turnover tells you how expensive it is to keep running. And then you've got its batting average. What percentage of days did it actually make money? Altogether, these signs tell a quant if an alpha gets to live another day or if it's time to pull the plug.
And here's the really tough part. No alpha lasts forever. The second a profitable strategy starts working, you can bet competitors are racing to figure it out and copy it. And as more and more money chases the exact same idea, the profit gets thinner and thinner. It's like a slice of pie being divided way too many times. Eventually, the edge just disappears. They call this alpha decay.
This inevitable decay brings us face to face with the main villain of our story. It's this quiet, sneaky trap that has ended countless trading careers. Its name is overfitting.
And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, it sounds simple enough. Just find a pattern in past data and then bet that it's going to continue. But it is fiendishly difficult to get right. Why is that?
The source material gives us this perfect non-finance example. Check this out. Before the 2006 World Cup, somebody found a magic formula. Argentina won in 1978 and 1986. Add those 2 years up, you get 39-64. Germany won in 74 and 90. 3964. Brazil won in 70 and 94, 3964 again. The formula was a perfect predictor of the past. So what did it predict for 2006? Brazil. And who actually won? Italy. That right there is overfitting, finding a pattern in history that's just pure random coincidence and has zero predictive power for the future.
So this gets us to a really critical distinction in the quant world. There's in-sample performance and out-of-sample performance. In-sample is how your model did on the history you used to build it. That's the World Cup formula. It looked perfect. But the only thing that actually matters is out-of-sample, how it performs on new data it has never seen before. That's the real world, and that's the true test of any alpha.
Okay, so if every alpha eventually dies and overfitting is this constant threat trying to fool you, what's the solution? Well, it's a never-ending hunt for brand new ideas. But where on earth are these ideas hiding?
The simple answer is everywhere. The modern quant has to be a data scavenger. They're looking for an edge in places that go way beyond just old price and volume charts. We're talking about parsing the emotional sentiment of Twitter feeds, digging into super complex options data, analyzing corporate cash flow, and even sifting through obscure government reports on, like, wheat futures. If there's a chance that a piece of information has a flicker of predictive signal in it, it's fair game.
And this data, it comes in all shapes and sizes. On the one hand, you have clean, structured data like these neatly organized analyst ratings you might find online. But then you've got this, a dense, messy, unstructured government report. The real genius of a quant is building a system that can pull a meaningful signal out of both of these, finding that hidden pattern whether it's in a nice, clean table or just a chaotic wall of text.
So we've seen the weapon, we've seen its life cycle, we've seen the enemy. Now we're at the very end, and we've arrived at the guiding philosophy that underpins this entire world. It's a strange paradox, but it's what drives the whole machine.
And this quote from the book says it all. The unrule. The only rule that works is the rule that no rule always works. It's this core belief that any pattern, any strategy, any alpha, no matter how clever or successful it is flawed, and it's temporary. It will eventually break.
And that right there is why the algorithm wars will never, ever end. If you truly believe in the unrule, you understand that you can't rest. You can't get complacent. The very second you find an alpha that works, you have to start looking for its replacement, because you know its clock is already ticking.
This whole philosophy has literally given birth to what people call alpha factories. Platforms like the one you see here are designed for exactly this purpose. They let thousands of researchers around the world create, test, and throw away ideas over and over again in this massive, continuous search for the next short-lived edge. It's the unrules put into practice on an industrial scale.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The quants have built a multi-trillion-dollar industry on one core principle. You must be ready to abandon any idea, no matter how much you love it or how successful it's been. So if every rule in the hyper-rational world of finance is temporary, what does that say about the rules and the long-held beliefs we hold on to in our own lives? Thanks for joining us.